Mr. Mike Sloan, investment advisor and retirement strategist. Come change our minds about the old ways, Mike.
All right, which is?
The middle one.
Middle one.
Yep.
All right. My name is Mike Sloan. I am an investment advisor and a retirement strategist. By strategist, that means I don't stick to the everyday, what everybody else talks about. I look for strategies to help you maximize your retirement. I am a U.S. Navy veteran, served 4 years in the U.S. Navy. Very proud of that, made a commitment to our security. A little bit of background. I grew up in South Florida. At 14, I joined the Lauderhill Fire Department Explorer Program and became a certified entry-level firefighter by the time I was 15. Served in the United States Navy, 1980 to 84. I am the father of a 25-year-old daughter and a world traveler. So far, 26 countries and 46 states. Today, my business is focused on bringing clarity to the confusing topic of retirement planning. I have yet to meet somebody who said to me, I have everything in order, and actually was in order. Many people think they have a retirement plan. Few actually do. The problem, this is huge, it's nationwide. 50 years ago, you worked for a company for 20, 30, 40 years, and you retired. And you got what was called a pension. You got a monthly paycheck for life based on your income and tenure with that company. Those have mostly disappeared. A few Fortune 500 companies still have them. Some municipalities and state employees still have pensions, but the vast majority of us don't. Pensions were replaced by 401ks and IRAs. It was billed as the solution to helping Americans accumulate wealth for retirement. Well, you're on your own. You went from a situation, or America went from a situation where you didn't have to think about your retirement plan. You had the pension. Today, every decision about retirement is on your shoulders, not the government's, not your company's. And to top it off, you get no real financial education. You go to work for a company, you meet with the 401k rep, sign here, how much do you want deducted from your check? And you may get a graph that shows you a couple of investment options, and most people look at it and go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I'll choose that one. There's no strategy. What that leads to, and the real crux of this problem, is Americans are retiring with absolute fear of running out of money. You've worked hard for a company for 20, 30 years. Maybe you've got your IRAs, your 401ks. You've got a big lump sum of money accumulated in there. But you can't take that lump sum of money and go to Publix. They don't take lump sums. You've got to figure out a way to turn that lump sum into a guaranteed income source that's going to last as long as you do. And very few people are talking about that. So I read an article a couple years ago from two professors at the American College for Financial Services addressing this issue. There have been numerous research articles over the years on what is the best strategy for Americans to create retirement income. And they're all over the place. Everybody's got an opinion. Nobody had any research to back up what they were saying. So two professors at the American College for Financial Services did an in-depth research. What are the key elements of a complete retirement plan? Now they came up with two. The rest I've added and I'll explain. There's 5 pillars to a successful retirement plan. I build it a successful and complete retirement plan. One is guaranteed income. Somewhere in your plan, you need to have a source of guaranteed income. If not, it's like going to the casino. You could lose all your money or half your money like happened in 2008. Imagine December 31st, 2007, you're sitting on your 401k with $1 million. You're going to retire in 2008. You need $50,000 a year to live on. By the end of 2008, your $1 million portfolio was worth about $600,000. You still needed to take $50,000. So now you're down to $550,000. Now, the following year, you still need $50,000. So the pressure on a portfolio by itself to perform is unbearable. It cannot sustain the level of income that you need to sustain yourself in retirement. So we need one source of guaranteed income. Two, we need an investment portfolio. It's not all or none, it's a combination of the two. Two engines driving your financial security. The portfolio is going to give you growth over time. They're volatile in the short term. I don't care what kind of portfolio an advisor puts together for you. There's going to be variability. It will go up, it will go down. That's the only guarantee I can give you. But it's necessary over time to build long-term financial security. Three is liquidity. If all your money is stuck in an IRA or a 401k, you have no liquidity. You've got to pay taxes and penalties to get access to your own money. When 2008 hit, we went through the major financial crisis. I cannot tell you how many people I talked to who had to break into their IRAs and their 401ks just to cover living expenses. Two bad things happened. One is they broke in and had to tap that money and pay a 10% penalty if they were under 59.5, but also they likely were forced to sell securities at depressed prices, locking in a loss. There are better ways. So you need liquidity. You need money that you can tap quickly for opportunities and emergencies. A major car repair, your roof. You want to take that lifetime vacation, go somewhere in the world you haven't been before. You want to have that money available, not affected by what happens in the stock market. We need to have protection. Protection against what? Well, Fidelity Investments does a study every year. The average American couple from retirement to death will incur over $300,000 of unreimbursed medical expenses. Think of that. What portion of your retirement savings do you want to allocate just to covering unreimbursed medical expenses? That's part of a complete retirement plan. It needs to be addressed in your planning process. Last, and this is one that really depends on where your advisor's training comes from, whether they'll address this with you or not, is the legacy that you want to leave. More and more people I talk to are saying, I want to leave a legacy. And I think I'm going to leave my IRA, I'm going to leave my 401k, whatever balance is left, that's the legacy that I'm going to leave for my kids. Well, you're leaving your kids a taxable legacy. And you're leaving them a taxable legacy at some point in the future where we don't know what those tax rates are going to be. So is it really a legacy? If you want to leave your kids a guaranteed legacy, you need to have that conversation with your advisor on life insurance. It's the only asset that can guarantee a specific amount of legacy at a non-specific point in time in the future. Now, everything I've just shared with you, it's not Mike's opinion. It's backed by research from the American College from Financial Services and one of the largest accounting and financial management companies in the world, Ernst & Young. Neither of those companies sells any products. All of the advice that they publish is objective, no bias, and they do not sell any financial products. So here's my challenge. What I just shared with you, 99% of America's never heard before. You're the first group of people that I've spoken to on a large-scale basis about this. My challenge is, how do I replace outdated retirement myths that you've been hearing for 40 or 50 years now? Everybody talking to you and telling you it's gospel. How do I replace that with a research-based strategy that delivers true security and peace of mind? That is my biggest challenge, is getting people to listen, realize that what they've been taught for 40 or 50 years is not entirely wrong, but it's not a complete plan. I want to bring retirement security to America by delivering a complete retirement plan that addresses all of their needs, not one or the other. Thank you. Again, my name is Mike Sloan. I'm an independent investment advisor. I am a fiduciary and a retirement strategist. And I welcome your thoughts. You're business owners. You are my target market. Your feedback's critical to me. Thank you.
Mike Sloan, everyone. Mike Sloan.
Mike.
Can we go back 2 slides real quickly and start getting those questions ready, okay? We want to hit them with a lot. All right. So I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Absolutely, I love it.
Guaranteed lifetime income. If I'm 60 years old, how much guaranteed lifetime income do I need?
That's a great question, and it differs for every person. Most Americans, when they retire, they don't have a plan for retirement. So I can't tell them how much income they need.
Yeah.
You can't use the rule of thumb. Some magazines, financial magazines, will say you're gonna need 80% of your pre-retirement income. Others are going to say 60. The reality is, in many cases, it's above 100% of your pre-retirement income, because you're going to want to travel. You're going to want to enjoy life. All those things you sacrificed in order to build wealth for retirement, you may actually spend more in retirement than while you were working.
And you did mention $50,000 a year to live on. So if you're 60 and you're going to live to be 90, so you need $50,000 all the way to 90, correct?
Yeah.
Basically, an investment portfolio which grows. So what kind of growth do you want? I mean, what do you need for that?
Good question. It depends. And this is where this is customized to each individual consumer. What I look for is, I want the guaranteed portion, generally an annuity. I want that to cover your basics, your mortgage, your insurance, clothing, groceries, medications, etc. Anything above that basic family needs, we can look at putting into an investment portfolio. Now, when I say an investment portfolio, it's a broad term, because I have clients that say, hey, I want to be aggressive. I don't mind taking risk. And I'm more willing to take risk because I know that my basics are already covered. So I can maybe shoot for the stars a little bit more. If I didn't have that annuity giving me that guaranteed income every month, I probably wouldn't want to take much risk. But now that I've got the basics covered, we can take a little bit more risk.
So liquidation for emergencies, you need about 3 to 6 months? I don't know. I'm asking you.
Depends. Okay? And I don't mean to be evasive, but every person is different. If you have an older home, for example, and that home may be needing a roof in the next couple of years, you're probably going to want more in that emergency fund. If you have funded a portion of your account over the years with life insurance can solve 2 problems for you. Life insurance can be part of your legacy plan, and it could also be part of your liquidity play. So again, when I sit down with somebody, their age matters, their health matters, the resources they have to work with matter. Every client is different.
Right. And the protection against health emergencies, we don't know that answer.
We do know that over 70% of Americans 60 and older will need long-term care before they die. Over 70%.
So we do know that.
Yes, we do.
And then the legacy is basically whatever we decide on.
Yeah. I have clients who say, I don't care about legacy. I've given my kids everything I want to give them while I'm alive. When I pass away, I don't care. I had a client say to me day before yesterday, he's got a substantial estate, and he says, I want to leave a $5 million inheritance for my granddaughter. No matter what that costs, she will get $5 million tax-free from a life insurance policy. So, again, everybody's different. Really, in synopsis, what I've done here is I've laid out a framework. This is not an absolute for anybody, but this is a proven framework on how to build a complete retirement plan. You don't want to get into retirement and, number one, not know what you have to work with, not know what your income is, not know if you've got enough money to cover emergencies, not to find out that your investment portfolio is hyper aggressive because you have an advisor who didn't understand what you may have said to him 20 years ago, or maybe you haven't talked to him in 20 years. You want to convert those unknowns into clarity.
So Mike obviously knows his stuff. So how is this making you guys feel? Do you have everything together? Do you have everything lined? I know I have questions now. So what areas do you see Mike being able to get an audience to explain these kinds of things? Where can Mike go to change this mindset, to start getting sit-downs, meetups, just informational sessions with people? Because we're all in different phases, closer, further from retirement, but these things are absolute, and just because we stick our heads in the sand doesn't mean they're not going to be there, right? So this is a little bit of a different 1 Million Cups presentation, but it's very important information for small business owners. So I know there's a lot of questions. So what are those questions? Where do you see Mike going with this information that serves our community the best?
How often do you do live presentations? You know, people will pay to go to the presentations, you know, do lunch and learn type of thing, set up an event and, you know, come in, you know, pay $10 to have a pizza or whatever, or lunch somewhere and do a presentation to let people know. Because people are interested in this, and they're younger kids. They want to prepare their younger kids, so like their adult children, so they don't make the mistakes they made.
Great question. And Central Florida is ground zero for incomplete retirement planning. You could go to lunch every day, breakfast every day, lunch every day, dinner every day to attend a financial seminar and listen to financial talk radio on your way there and on your way home. So there's plenty of opportunity for people to get educated. That's not the problem. The problem is the will to get educated. I'm happy to talk to anybody. The problem is we are lazy and we have an attitude that I'll deal with this when I retire. So I love your idea. I would speak to anybody. I love doing this. This is, you know, puts me in my happy zone. But getting people together to invest the time to listen is extremely difficult.
Urgency.
Urgency, thank you.
I suggest maybe start some homeowners association that looks for speakers, maybe even realtors. They have different events that always look for speakers, even social places like Kiwanis, let's say. Of course, there's a million cups you can travel to, since you like to travel, write down, 116 of them that are located and plan a world or U.S. trip. And then I picked up this flyer that was at the Civic Center, and there was somebody that's doing a downsizing and right-sizing seminar. So if you put on an event, put out flyers at different locations, and maybe you'll get people that are interested in what you have to say.
I have tried that. That goes back to my previous answer, is the noise. There's so much financial noise out there that my real challenge, my specific question, how do I break through that? Though I know I've been doing this for 40 years, I know all the traditional ways. I've tried them all. I've failed many times. What I'm looking for is something different that can help me break through the clutter and get people's attention.
Okay, let's keep going with that.
We got right here.
Over here?
We got right here, then there.
Sir.
Right here, then there. Right here, and then there. Yes.
Hey, good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
Chef and owner of Gunright Culinary Services. First, I want to thank you for your service. It's phenomenal that you did that.
Thank you.
How involved on social media are you? And so kind of lead into my other points.
Minimal. I post a lot on LinkedIn and I post a lot on Facebook.
So actually, my daughter got me this book for Father's Day. It's called Hook Point, and we live in a world that only needs to grasp someone's attention in 3 seconds. So this is something that I wasn't taught as a kid. I only started when I was 30, was investing. So you grabbed my attention right away with the Hook Point, which is how you grab somebody's attention. So doing a quick story, doing a quick short or something, grabbing someone's attention, because it's best to start investing when you're young. So as you get into the Gen Z population and things, grab their attention in 3 seconds for the pain point that they have. But if you want to read a book, you can look it up on Amazon. It's called Hook Point, and it teaches you specifically how to grab somebody's attention in that initial phase. So whether you're doing a presentation in front of everybody, or whether it's short, or whether it's on LinkedIn, you learn that aggressive hook point on how to get them to listen to what you're having to say. So
I am using Dan Kennedy's material. If anybody's familiar with Dan Kennedy, he is the king of direct response marketing. And one of the things that I have done is created a slogan to capture people's attention. People ask, what do you do? I fix incomplete retirement plans. And most retirement plans are incomplete. That in public, at networking groups, that's how I introduce myself. And that captures attention, but I need to figure out how to do that on a broader basis. Social media may very well be part of that.
Okay, let's go over here.
Sir?
Hi. Everybody knows that young people don't take any of this into consideration. So my question is, how do you get to the younger people? And is there any way you can hook up with employers or the HR employers and go through them to say that these programs?
This is 2 schools of thought. This approach does work for younger people, but it is more relevant and urgent to people over 50.
But you need to get to the younger people to stop it.
Yep.
That's hard to do.
It is.
They'll help their kids will help their parents too.
I just read an article this morning on Facebook that the younger generation is eschewing traditional investments. They look at traditional investments as not possible of providing the return they need to live the lifestyle that they want. So they're going way overboard. They're investing in crypto, they're flipping houses, they're putting groups together to gamble, thinking that a group can beat the odds. So as a business owner, I have to be very cautious about where I invest my time. What I've learned is the audience that is most receptive to what I have to say and where I can create urgency is 50 and over. You only have one time to get retirement right. There's no do-overs.
So that helps narrow the focus a little bit for your feedback. If we're thinking in that kind of urgency was a good word. So some younger generation might have a little bit more time. Mike seems to be more interested in the, let's get you straight now because you're running out of time. That sounds a little scary, but
So have
what do
you
you have?
collaborated maybe with anybody who writes wills and trusts? Because that comes into effect, that should actually also be a part of it, because that's the futuristically of how the money will go and not taxable, et cetera, et cetera. So that might be an outlet that you can use to a collaboration, because they don't maybe necessarily know the retirement part, but they know what to do with the money. So that could be somewhere you could put in a couple of those here in town. But they're going to deal, and that also needs to be taught a lot more about the
Yes, ma'am.
crucial point of
Yes,
the
ma'am.
will versus the trust. I'm not here, but I'm not here marketing as a realtor, but that's a huge part of people and issues you have when somebody passes in their house.
Yeah.
Part of the legacy, I guess, is what you would add to that.
There's one specific audience that I am finding success with, and that's women. 25 years ago, I taught financial management workshops for women. Did very well with it. I loved it. I met somebody who allured me to the thought of the big commission dollars in the business market without letting me know how difficult it was to make that transition from individuals to the business market. I was the speaker a couple weeks ago at Solutions Group in the morning. After my presentation, which was short, and I called it the Incomplete Retirement Plan, 2 women came up to me. And I've met with one of them. I'm scheduled to meet with the other. Both of them said, I'm so confused. I've got money. I have not an idea what to do with it. Can I sit down with you and have you help me? So that will be going forward. A big part of my marketing is going directly to women. I enjoy it. Years ago I attended how much, am I okay for time?
We just want to make sure you get feedback. I like what you're kind of narrowing your focus a little bit more, so I just want to keep the audience on 50 and above, females, those kinds of things, just other places for like a BNI for you to be able to get to for suggestions to find some. Yeah, Maurice. Oh.
Sir, would you speak up just a little bit?
One thing I'm learning in my sales journey now that I didn't know before I was real estate a lifetime ago is that even if you know the problem that you're trying to solve for, you need a business solution, having to allow them to give you their specific problem and walk through what they specifically need.
Very good.
And more questions along their journey.
Yeah.
And I think the important part is you can speak to a bunch of people at one time, but once you get 2 to 3 people that you want to speak to, you want to make sure you be close to those people. And so that's the part that I'm really focused on now, and I have to take a mind shift.
You're absolutely correct.
Great.
And one problem that has been widely identified by the financial press and by the research is people over 50, either within 5 years of retirement or recently retired, are scared to death to spend their money because they're afraid they're going to run out. So that's a market that I really enjoy working in because I can make a difference almost immediately on how you're going to sleep at night. Years ago, my mom's best friend called me, scared. She said, I've got a couple $100,000 in the stock market. I'm 72 years old. My account goes up, it goes down, more down than up lately. What can I do? So we met. I put her into an annuity that not only protected her principal, never go down in value, but also provided her with a guaranteed income that she didn't have before. 6 months later, she calls me in a panic. The market had gone down $1,000 or 1,000 points that day, and she was scared. So, Mike, how much money have I lost? Not a penny. As an advisor, that's the most rewarding reassurance to give somebody, is that what I educated you on and the product that I provided delivered exactly as it's designed to do.
Absolutely.
Mike, thanks for showing up today. I'm an Air Force veteran, so thanks for doing
Thank you, ma'am.
So I hear 2 different challenges. One is the stated challenge that's on the screen. The other challenge is you're asking, how do I get in front of people to share this message? Those are 2 different issues. First of all, if I heard this, what you were going to talk about before you talked about it, I wouldn't have shown up because the message itself, there's so many people doing that, so you need to be looking for discriminators. How was my message different than other messages? That's what I would fine tune and find out. What are you doing that's different than 1,000 other people out there with your same message? And I think that the answer to that is your first one, which is how do you replace an outdated retirement system with myths? I'm a doctor of holistic natural health and nutrition. People out there are sicker and tired, more tired, they're more broken than ever. They're using research-based strategies. They're using what they think is true, and it's not true for them. So I think the individualized approach is good, but it comes from asking questions outside of your mission statement here. replacing outdated myths. There's other ways to create legacy, by paying down bills, by owning your own property, growing your own food. Having legacy comes from smart businesses that have cash flows away. So I think to answer this question, you become more of an advisor by backing away from the traditional messaging and then going into a bigger picture of what's relevant to that person. If they're free and clear on their home, then let's talk about ways that they can go from that position forward. So I would refine your question a little bit more. It's an asymmetrical warfare thing, but this is a direct frontal approach, and I think that there's better ways to get to the market by broadening your scope.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Go, I see a few more hands. Let's keep going. There you go. Yeah.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Good. My name's Candace. I love your message, by the way.
Thank you.
So two things. One, podcasts. Podcasts definitely give a lot of information to a lot of different people. So I would definitely partner with them.
I am doing that. I've been on
Also,
just a couple weeks ago. I was on a podcast.
Gotcha. Always approach people with what you can give them first. Always give, and then ask. So when you're talking to a bunch of employees or people who own their own business, talking to them about how this can be a tax deduction. So at the very end of the year, you can actually deduct, so on and so forth, and how it can help them in the future and now. So kind of just see how you can give first and then.
Good practice.
Yep.
Go.
Beautiful. Hey, it's like I would chat a little bit of great presentation. I have actually two things for you. First of all, that grandma you were talking about, if she could adapt, because I would love for her to adapt me. One that's willing to sponsor $5 million. Yeah, so she's willing to adapt. I'm going to piggyback on what Tia said right there, because I think she's spot on. I will want you to focus on the legacy part. Emotional decisions always supersede rational decisions. We are emotional buyers, most of us, right? You go to buy shoes and you like something first before you start going over your budget in your head. So find a way to use that legacy, however it may apply to every individual that you're in front of. And tie that to their emotional decision to realize that there are better ways to secure your future.
I like that.
There's something definitely to it. Everything that Dia said, spot on. Differentiate yourself, but I love that legacy piece that you talked about. When people tell you, I don't care about legacy, it's because they don't understand the past, the value of legacy, what it really means. It's not that you need to be a $5 million trust fund. It could be the trees, it could be whatever it is that's important to them. So how do you help them get to it? So that's what they want to be behind their legacy, and you have a solution for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
Mike,
ma'am.
congratulations for your business is amazing.
Thank you.
I found a very important topic to educate people 100%. What I think all the advice are amazing, and you should like take note because it's very important. What Tia says, the last message and everything. But I think you have to call the attention and like, I can't do it. The myth or legacy of the myth of having a good retirement is just for millionaires. So maybe put examples. More like, okay, if you have a leftover $50, we can work that out. Because people think they can't. They have the myth that, because we see it in our industry, you are able to buy a house. But no, I don't have, I have to fix my credit score first. So maybe that's the problem. People think that they're not qualified for a good retirement. And maybe focus and educate them and add value, and you're going to be able to, okay, let's see, maybe I can qualify for this. That's the idea I think.
I don't disagree with you. Here's my challenge. I'm a business owner. If I helped a lot of people like that, I would go broke quickly. If I'm not working with people that have money, I'm going broke. And I can do more good for people, upper middle income, affluent, to the wealthy. I can do more good, bring more value to them have a greater impact than I can on a lower income family.
If I can piggyback, I get where she's going with it, because I did hear you say something that I would challenge you on. I would challenge you on this in your presentation. You said people are lazy. Not everybody's lazy. Some of us are fearful. Some of us don't know. So I think what she's saying, to educate, maybe it changes your perspective a little bit on why people are hesitant. I'm lazy on a Sunday, but I'm not lazy. I'm fearful. I'm lacking in knowledge. I personally am going through, we talked about this, a complete overhaul of everything right now, because I keep hearing these things and I'm concerned, right? Would I rather go stick my head in the sand? 100%. I'm not lazy, I'm uneducated.
Okay, so a better choice of words.
I just think there, and I'm also not leaving a $5 million trust. Sorry, I can't adopt you, Lenka, but there are those of us that are in that middle range that, I'm not a millionaire, but I can still sustain you as a business owner. And having that education, I think, endears me a little bit more to your profession that I'm already fearful of. So that's why that's I think, I don't mean to hijack, but that's just where the education is huge. Yes.
Let's take 2 more questions, and then we're going to hear from Harry. Right here.
Hey, John Renato. So I'm over 50 and I'm trying to start a business as well. I know W-2s and business owners, they may have to have multiple business streams potentially. Do you work with other partners? Because my thought is, you work with people that have businesses that might want to retire, right? And they're looking for stuff. You work with brokers, and if you work with brokers, there may be a potential that if there's a client of yours that's aging out and wants to sell a business, the broker sells the business, that people like me could buy the business and also refer back to your services, which kind of collects sort of a circle or a loop of people helping each other in sort of a partnership.
Great way to end the conversation. I'm part of a team of advanced planners. We're what's called a virtual family office. So within my team, I have multiple tax attorneys that I work with, CPAs, real estate agents, business succession strategists, mergers and acquisition strategists, specialized law firms that create tax benefits. So yes, partnering with other professionals is key to what I do. And it's one of the things that I wanted to focus on just this one topic for today. But as an investment advisor, I have a complete team, no matter how complicated things can get. We've worked on clients with values, net worths of exceeding $1 billion. We've worked on small business owners just getting started. But for this particular topic, I didn't want to go into all the details on that. But the answer to your question is yes, we do partner.
Last question?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. My
Hello.
name is Carrie, and it's my first time here. But I was sitting here listening to you today, and some of the things that I was thinking about really impacted me in thinking. And I heard a lot of this group doesn't do this, or this group doesn't do that. Typically, groups don't do things not based on age. It is more based on education and what I know. How do I know this? I work in taxes. You said if I spend this much time with this group, I'm losing money. I've made more money with connections than I have ever made with advertising or going out projecting myself in the community, just building relationships. It sounds a lot of your things are built off of fear, whether it be fear of you going out and finding the knowledge that says I can eat, because I'm 38 years old, and everything you said today was relevant to me, and I've been doing it for the last, since I was 28. So if you make it relevant to me by giving me the general knowledge of it, then I want to know what you got to give me. And I can spend more money because typically it's actually considered Gen X, which is around in 1980 to around now, are one of the biggest spenders in our economy. We spend and we don't think as long as you can make it relevant. And I heard up there, he said outdated, what I heard is tradition.
Same thing. Same thing.
Right.
Here's the thing. the baby boomers, which is basically who I work with, they're at peak retirement for the next 3 years. Why would I not spend my time where the masses, the largest population of people approaching retirement in history, is the next 3 years?
Well, I do all three. I don't want to just limit myself in one area when you limit yourself there. Those people are dying.
Okay, I disagree with you.
And they're going to die. And everyone will eventually die, but if you make it make sense to me, then you don't just reach one group, you reach all groups. That's expanding your financial capital.
Okay.
We're going to call it
Point well taken.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, everybody.
So here is Mike's information. Go ahead and grab a screenshot of that. If there is any additional feedback that you have for him or thoughts that you come up with, that's your contact information. And as we always do, I'm aiming at the wrong place. Final question for you. What can we as a community do to help you? This is one action item that you think we can do.
Become comfortable with what I shared with you. Look and see if it applies to you. And share it. Share that with people. Say, hey, I met a guy who just kind of changed my perspective on what I'm doing. And he doesn't, it's not an opinion, but he's actually coming to this approach with research.
Mike Sloan,
Excellent.
everyone. Mike Sloan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.